Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel Bookswithnatasa, and today I'm filming my November wrap-up. Before we get started, I'd just like to say that I have decided to use this background for my wrap-up just because I'm more comfortable where I'm sitting at the moment. And wrap-ups usually are pretty long for me because I read quite a lot of books this month. So I hope you guys don't mind the change in setup because this is actually really works for me. And I hope you understand. So yeah, basically in the month of November I read 34 books and I read a few arcs and I discovered a new author, many mangas, and overall it was a really fun and good month for me. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into all the books that I read this month. The first manga that I read in the month of November is Wotakoi Love is Hard for an Otaku, volume 4, 5 and 6. I gave volumes 4 and 5 4 stars and volume 6 4.5 stars. My favorite in the entire manga series is volume 6 at the moment, but just because there were a lot more development in Hirotaka and Narumi's relationship, and in the previous volume you got more with the second main couple. But yeah, so I have officially finished the Wotakoi series with this volume, and I couldn't be happier. This was such a fun read for me, exactly what I needed at the time. I love how the author portrayed how an otaku is treated and the prejudice surrounding all of that, and related a lot with Narumi's character, with the fact that she wants to keep her otaku side secret because of all the judgment surrounding it. And yeah, also I love how their friendship with Narumi and Nayo, the other girl, basically, I can't pronounce her name, I'm so sorry. But yeah, they have the most incredible friendship, the friendship that all of us readers want, because immediately when one of them recommends to another book, a manga, they read it and then they talk about the favorite characters, favorite romances and all that, and I just love it so much. I really enjoyed reading about all the different couples. One of my favorite is Hirotaka and Narumi, like I said in previous reviews of these volumes. Then I really did like the other couple's relationship because they have been together for a long time, and it's nice to see that some things have changed for them, but a lot of stuff haven't changed, and I just love it. Also, finally got them to get married, and I love that. I really wanted a little more development in Hirotaka and Narumi's relationship. I mean, even maybe live together, or I don't know, something in the near future. I don't know, but I guess I understand why they also didn't do it, because we got the other couple being actually together for like maybe 10 years, so it's natural that they finally get married. But with Hirotaka and Narumi, it's pretty soon. And then the other couple's relationship with Noya, I believe is his name, and I don't remember her name, but Hirotaka's brother and the other girl, who was for sure it was a boy and it was going to be a BL element. And then we see her be a girl, and I was like, I had the same expression on my face as Hirotaka's brother, and it was quite shocking. I like the relationship, but it's not my favorite in the series. I also love their group hangouts, how they all get together, play games, and talk about their otaku interest, and it's just like the best thing ever. Definitely check out this series, and if you're not interested in reading the manga, definitely check out the anime, it's really good. Next, I finally made a decision and read A Shadow in the Ember. This is book number 1, The Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer Armentrout, and this is a prequel spin-off to the From Blood and Ash series by her. And I have been meaning to read this series for a while now, but I wanted to finish the From Blood and Ash first, even though it's recommended that we read this book before the War of the Queens. But I just was really hooked on Cass and Poppy and didn't feel like changing and reading a whole different story. But yeah, I waited until the second book in the series was close to releasing before reading this one, and I'm so happy that I did, because immediately after finishing it I was crying because there were like 3 weeks until the book came, the second book was set to release, and I was dying. I love this book so much. I think I love the couple in this one more than Poppy and Cass, but it's just like a hint more, but still I love Poppy and Cass. But here we follow Serafina, otherwise known as Sarah, who is this badass character that we all love. But yeah, she ever since she was born, she was told that she is to be in the primal of death's wife consort as soon as she turned age. So when she was like 17, I believe, they took her to the altar and summoned Nyctos, and he came and said, I have no need of a consort, and left. So fast forward a few years later, we see Serafina basically being no longer a princess, not that she ever was one in her family's eyes, but yeah, she is abused. She has the worst possible treatment from her mother, her stepbrother. Only her sister is a good one, but she doesn't really have any power. And her mother uses Sarah to kill people that inconvenience her. So she's basically a handmaiden now and an assassin. So yeah, and one night Sarah is out in the city to take care of something from her mother, and that's where she sees these gods killing this couple and going to kill the baby. So she tries to intervene. That's where this mysterious stranger shows up named Ash, and he saves her basically. They also have a super hot steamy makeup session, which I was screaming about. Their chemistry was explosive from the first scene, and I can't believe how Ellie writes this stuff. She's a genius. But yeah, and after a while they decide to investigate together the deaths of these humans that these guys are killing, because Sarah keeps finding herself in this crime scene. So they say, let's work together, but they start getting super close to one another and being even more attracted to one another. So, and yeah, but later in the book, I'm trying not to spoil too much, but yeah. Anyway, something happens, and then he comes and claims her, and just the best thing ever. Then Sierra goes into the Elysium, which is the realm of the gods, to live with a primal, and that was insane. Also, I love Sarah's relationship with the dragon. It's like she's their mother. It's the sweetest thing. I love Nectas. I love what River as a baby. So many new things. Also, this revelation that Sarah finds out close to the middle of the book has my heart breaking, because everything she has ever known was a lie, and she's also super relieved, and I'm so happy to see that, because she did really want to have to kill the primal, so because she has feelings for him, so that actually works out pretty great. So yeah, but then his trust is broken with her, and it's not good. But the end of this book was insane. I ended up, as soon as I finished this book, going back and rereading the whole thing, and that just says how much I loved it. The sort of cliffhanger at the end was insane, and I was dying for the next book to see more of Sarah and Ash. They are incredible together. Next, I read an arc that was sent to me by the author, and that is Quarterback Sneak by Candy Stainer, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. So many people that ended up really loving this book, but I just wasn't really immersed in the story or the characters or anything like that. I really did like the story surrounding grief surrounding both of them and overcoming that and finding happiness with each other. That was really good in this book. I really like the characters, but overall I just didn't connect with the story or anything like that, and that's why I gave it 3 stars. It was a good book, but that doesn't mean it was good for me. Next, I read Lovesick Ellie volumes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and I gave all of them 5 out of 5 stars. I had some, and that officially concludes my Lovesick Ellie reading. So yeah, I just finished the series. It's incredible. I had so much fun reading it. Omikun and Ellie-chan are just perfect for one another. I love them to death. They are so adorable and cute. Also, in the later volumes, things got so much more steamy, and I was so here for it. Also, I love how the relationship progressed in such a natural way. How they finally met each other's parents and came out and told everyone in school that they are dating, and basically everyone is actually shipping them together because they see how much they love one another. Also, there are a few misunderstandings that happen, but it ends up being resolved pretty quickly because of how strong their feelings are for one another, and I was screaming out loud. Definitely one of my new favorite series. 9 out of 10 overall, and but all these volumes I give 5 out of 5 stars. So far, my favorite volumes in the series is volume 4, volume 8, and volume 12. But not to say that all the other volumes are terrible, they are still amazing, just that these 3 are even more amazing. This book was a complete surprise for me because when the year showed up on my Kindle, I wasn't sure if I was seeing it correctly because I hadn't heard any new releases by QB Tyler that was to come. So when I saw it, I googled it and saw that she actually does release a book. So I stopped immediately reading everything that I was reading and jumped straight into what was meant to be by QB Tyler, and it's definitely a favorite book of the year for me. This was perfection. It was incredible. It was a story that I didn't know that I needed. And basically in this we have Forbidden, we have Godfather, Goddaughter, the Trope, we have Age Gap, Second Chance, so many tropes that are my favorites, and JP and Whitney are perfect for one another. JP stands for Jacob Price, but we call him in this book JP. So yeah, I will try not to spoil too much, but I promise you will want to read it if you love other QB Tyler books. But I'm getting sidetracked here. So JP and Whitney used to date when she was 18. She had feelings for him for a while. She acted on them, and they basically started dating. They dated in secret for about 3 years, but then JP decided to end things off with her because he was feeling like he felt like he was holding her back, and the fact that his best friends, basically her parents, would be so angry and disappointed with him also made him give up the love of his life basically. And so he moved away to Mexico to Doctors Without Borders, I believe, because he is a freaking doctor. So to give her space to get over him and him to get over her. But yeah, fast forward, I think 5 years later, he comes back after hearing that she got engaged to be married. So we see them interact together now. He comes back and says that leaving her was the biggest mistake of his life, that he wants her back, so he wants another chance. So, but she is a little annoying just because she knows that she has feelings for JP, that her fiance basically sucks, but she feels obligated to marry him just because he said yes in his proposal, and that's just wrong. So I really wish Whitney just accepted her feelings a little bit sooner, but so there wasn't all this giant mess in the story. But I understand why she didn't and why Capital decided to go with that. So yeah, but basically they get back together and they are closer than ever. We see them coming clean to her parents, but not in the way that they wanted for all these years. And I was super pissed off at that. And yeah, we see them getting the happily ever after at the end, and I was super so happy about them. This story was such a journey for me. I loved every second of it. JP and Whitney were perfect for one another, and I know I say this for most of the couples that I read, but this is definition of perfect. And in case you haven't noticed, 5 out of 5 stars, and I read this book 2 times this month, and I might read it a third, I have no idea. Next we have our most anticipated release of this fall, and that is Light in the Flame, which is book number 2 in the Flesh of Fire series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And this is the continuation. So yeah, after that cliffhanger, I was dying to get my hands on this book. I couldn't wait for my actual copy to arrive because paperbacks take a while to release in her new series, so I decided to get the ebook, and I read it in 2 sittings because I picked it up late at night, so I couldn't exactly stay all night to read it. So yeah, I loved it. It was so good. Jelly writes incredible sequels. I will always say that, but I love the development in the relationship between Niktos and Sarah. I love watching them come to terms with their feelings, but also being prepared to Sarah being prepared to die because she knows that Niktos can't love her. I'm trying not to spoil the reason because we found out in the end of the previous book, but yeah, we see them being super close again, but also getting into a lot of fights because Niktos insists on keeping some secrets, and I find that super annoying. But yeah, we see also Nektas and the other dragon being so close to Sarah, and I love that. We will finally see them getting married, and so many fight scenes in this book, so many new developments, and yeah. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know what else to tell you because I don't want to spoil, but the ending broke me. I was screaming, and I sort of guessed what was going to happen, just not the circumstances surrounding it. But I saw also some theories on Facebook, on the Facebook group chat, and I begin to think that they might be right, that there wasn't a betrayal, but I guess we'll have to wait and see until the end of next year. Oh my god, just saying it makes me want to throw up because of all the waiting that I will have to do. Next, I really wanted to get back into this world, so I decided to reread the From Blood and Ash series, and I usually read from book 2 and to book 4. I don't read much from book 1 just because I don't like book 1 so much. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars, all 3 of these books. I love them so much. I love going back and reading about Poppy and Cass. They are so good together, and I love how much Cass is devoted and in love with her, and I just love watching their scenes. Also in book 4, I really love Kiran's and Poppy's relationship develop. I really love watching that. They are so close together, but not in a romantic way, in a platonic way. I just thought I might clarify that I don't ship them as a couple. So there are no misconceptions, but yeah, I love their trio's friendship and this sort of closeness that they have. I really also love Poppy's and Delano's friendship. It's really amazing, one of my favorite things in this series. Yes, and I really want them I want to see them being together in this war. It's just not being apart like they were in the first book. And just make the decisions together, and we see them spending time together. I just really want to see that after the previous book. Thank God the cliffhanger at the end wasn't about the characters as much as the plot. So that was good because every time there is a character plot twist, I end up screaming and crying, so thank God that wasn't the case this time. 5 out of 5 stars. All of these books. My favorite is book number 3, but I really did love book 4 and 2 as well. Next, I discovered a new author because I love David Perry and her small town romances. I discovered Catherine Cowles. I'm not sure how to say her last name, I'm sorry. And I'm so happy that I did. I started reading her Tattered and Torn series and I'm loving it. So the first book was Tattered Stars and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I really love Ev and Evelyn, and I believe his name is Griffin, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I really love the relationship, how it's an enemies to lover situation, and also how it's a fun family, but not really. And I really did love. I love how we got to see and character romance plot, but there is also a suspense in the story. There's this mystery going on, and I love that. I had so much fun reading this book. It was exactly the small town romance that I needed, and I can't wait to get to the next books in the series. Next, my favorite so far this series is Fallen Embers, book number 2 in the Tattered and Torn series by Catherine Cowles, and I give it 5 out of 5 stars. This is I think it's an age gap, single parent, friends to lovers trope. And we see the guys from the first book's sister, Hayden, and she's friends with this guy, I don't remember his name, I'm so sorry, for a long time, and she helps him take care of his children a lot. She's very close with them, but they're friends. But some stuff happened in the course of this book that they end up deciding to give their relationship a try, and even though there are stuff that happened in the past between them, between his ex-wife, damaged him in a way, they really want to try and work this because they feel that it's perfect, and if it works, they are going to be a family. So I think it's worth it. So I love watching them progress the relationship and Hayden's relationship with the kids, and I just love that. I have Hidden Waters, which is book number 3 in the Tattered and Torn series by Catherine Cowles, and I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book follows Beckett, which is another brother of the family, and I blocked out the other girl's name. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm so terrible with names. But we meet her in the previous books after getting out of this bad situation that she was in with her family, similar to how Evelyn got out, but much later. So she enjoys her freedom right now, and she tries to get her life on track. That's when Beckett goes to stay into the house that she stays, and they are roommates. So yeah, they end up spending a lot of time together and become super close, and it was such a natural thing for them because they are both in a dark place when they meet, so they pull out each other into the light, and they end up falling in love and being super protective of one another, and that's like a healing story, and I had such a good time reading it. I love watching this girl coming out of herself and being more confident in herself, and I loved it. Next, I read Haru Volume 3, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars, and I have decided to drop this manga series. I know I dropped a lot of series in the past few days, but I just don't see the point in trying to work them up when there are so many other series on my TBR which I will end up loving more. So yeah, I really wanted to read about Ku and Futaba's relationship, but I really hate love triangles, and we already have one love triangle between the two girls in the first few volumes, and then I heard that there's going to be a love triangle between boys in more later, and I just don't see the point where there has to be 2 love triangles. It just seems excessive in my opinion, and I just don't see the point torturing myself just so I can see two characters to have like a few 2 or 3 scenes together. So yeah, I might just read the final few volumes one day to see them be happy for once. But other than that, I don't see myself going through with the series anymore. I just don't see the point. Next, I read Kingdom of Us, which is book number 7 in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And this book was an emotional roller coaster for me. I was crying at the beginning, crying at the end, crying in the middle, basically crying the entirety of this book. I love watching Ron and Eileen reunite, and how Eileen basically was in this terrible place, emotionally, physically, psychologically. All the stuff that happened to her in this book was heartbreaking. My heart was breaking every time I was reading how terrible things were for her. I was crying when reading how she was tortured and all of that. It was just the most difficult thing to read, and how desperate she was, basically begging for death at this point. But then this, I don't remember his name, this wolf helped her escape by sacrificing his life. That's when Rowan finds her, but she's basically a shell of herself at this point, and we see her retreat back into herself and basically feeling so broken. But Rowan is there through all her troubles to help her, to help with her pain and all of that. And yeah, so basically we get to the fighting portion of this book. I felt like the whole war was like 2 battles and basically nothing really happened. I mean, the Avatar books had way more fight scenes, way more details in them, but I think the series is her first, so I understand that there are many details. But yeah, I love how they end up winning the war. It was such a creative way. I love how Irene basically helps them save them all, and Eileen as well. But yeah, at the end, I was crying with so much when Eileen, Dorian, and Kale said their goodbyes and basically move on with her lives. Kale and Irene moved back home to his house, basically, so they can build a house together, basically start raising their baby. And Dorian goes back to his kingdom and with Manon to train the new soldiers, and Abraxo, those monsters basically, I'm sorry, and Ron and Eileen stay back in Terrasen to rule. So yeah, we see them basically saying goodbye to one another, but we know they will be together again, but just not in this sort of way. So basically, it's like saying goodbye to your childhood friends, and it was like so heartbreaking for me. I really do want it, and like a few more extra scenes within Rowan and Eileen before the end of the book, but we just got this one scene, and then we got this scene where all the characters are in, so I guess that's okay because I did really enjoyed it. But overall, this was a really good ending, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I reread The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and I gave it 4.75 also, and I had so much fun. I go back to Mariana Zapata every time I need a good romance, and makes me feel bad at romance. So even though there are like 600 700 pages books long, I just don't feel how long they are, because I have so much fun reading about these characters, and it's just perfection. Always makes my mood, and I really do love this story with Vanessa and Aidan. I don't give it 5 stars because I just don't connect with Aidan so much. I really do like his character, but I feel like he doesn't talk much and he doesn't interact much, so that's my problem with him. But other than that, I really do love the book. I really love the story, the romance, everything. And I love how the sports romance are connected, in how, for example, the world of the Winnipeg connects with Hands Down, which follows Zack, and then Hands Down connects with Look Up with Love. And that one, I don't know which one, which connects with what, because I haven't read it yet, but Wait for You connects with Winnipeg and me because Diana is friends with Vanessa, and Wait for You connects with Kulti because we see Sal and Kulti make an appearance there, and it's like this whole design, which I love it so much. Next is my most disappointing read of the year, and that is The Pact by Dakota Rebel, and I gave it 2 stars, and that's generous. This is like a 100-page novella, and I kept seeing it all over TikTok with quotes and all that, and I thought, why not give it a try, because I didn't feel like reading a whole book. So I read it, and I couldn't even picture the characters because there was no physical description of them. It was super abrupt, how they get together, how it's basically insta love, and I didn't like it at all. It was so quickly, so quick. It's like reading a chapter from a 300-page book, and it felt so unfinished. But I didn't like it one bit. I reread Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is No Come Out series book number 1, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I really do love this book. I love Nox and Naomi so much, and her niece is so adorable. I hate her twin. She's the worst. And if this book didn't have the whole twin aspect of it, and it was just romance focusing on Naomi and Nox, I would have liked it a lot more. But I still liked it a lot. I can't wait for book number 2 releasing in 2023 following Nash, and I don't know what else to tell you because I have talked about this book a lot again, but it's a slow burn, neighbors, forced proximity, serve enemies to lovers, tropes. And yeah, I love how feisty Naomi is and doesn't back down from Nox and always gives him help. And I also love how Nox really loves her, but at the end he got scared and ended things off with her in the worst possible way. And I love that he had to grovel quite a bit so Naomi could forgive him. And at the end we see them being so happy together, and he proposes in the best way, and I just loved it so much. Next, I reread Kulti by Mariana Zapata, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said in previous clip, I really love reading Mariana Zapata books, especially her sports romance one. I really do love this one with Kulti and Sal. It's just an enemies, then friends, then lovers. It's just such a natural progression of a story, and I loved it so much. I really did enjoy watching how Sal doesn't back down from calling out Kulti when he's been a jerk, and when it helps him basically be more open with her because he doesn't trust easily, and his life is always in the spotlight, so he's really reserved and angry about the stuff that happens in his life recently. And I love watching them be together and how much he cares about her, which we only found out towards the end of the book. The only thing that I didn't like that much in this book was how instant the dirty talk started. That's my one complaint on this book. But other than that, I really did like it, and I would have liked even more stuff to read about them. But it hasn't happened. Next, I reread Wait for It by Mariana Zapata, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This is my second favorite of Mariana Zapata book. I cried so much again while Diana was talking about her brother, and I thought such a cruel thing to do, but I mean, kill her brother. Mariana Zapata, why did you do that to such a sweet person? Also, I love watching how Dallas naturally became more close to her and her nephews, children, whatever, and it's just the most amazing thing ever. I love how he thought like, I want to be able to have my divorce final before I make a move on you, so you know that even though I was married to this woman that I very liked, I was faithful, so imagine how I would be if I really love that woman. So I really love that aspect of it. I love the only thing that I kind of didn't like in this book was just how oblivious Diana was to the fact that Dallas is actually super in love and obsessed with her. But when she comes clean about it, it's like, are you serious? Oh my god, she's basically hanging there with her mouth open, and it was amazing. I love Josh and Louis, they are the cutest things, and I loved everything about this book. Next, I reread The Score, which is book number 3 in the Off-Campus series by L. Kennedy. I just felt the need to reread about Dean and Ellie, and so I picked it up again, and I'm so happy that I did. It was such a fun time. I love going back to the school, the characters. I mean, Garrett and Logan are hilarious, one of my favorite friendships ever. I love this story so much, and how Dean and Ellie are perfect for one another, and I love how the boys are afraid to get together, but they can't deny their feelings or their attraction, so they keep having this casual relationship. But when Ellie decides that she can't do it anymore, they set a date, and it's actually going pretty well, but then tragedy strikes, and I'm crying just thinking about that. It was so unexpected since the first time I read it, and I cried so much because Maxwell was such a nice character. I loved him so much. His friendship with Dean was amazing, and just can't believe that this happened. And I was crying just alongside with Dean every time that I reread this book. And I just love how in the end he puts himself back together and helps him figure out his life, and then goes back to Ellie after they decide to have some time apart, and then they decide it's time to come back together, and I just love that. Now, this final book that I want to talk about, I still haven't finished it. I'm currently in the middle of it, and that is Lovelight Farms, which is Lovelight book number 1 by P.G. Borson. So far I will give it like 3.5 to 4 stars, but I'm not sure. This is a friends love a Christmas story, fake dating, and I'm loving it so far. It's super fun. It's just the Christmas story that I need, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish it this month because I have also started Chain of Gold, and I really want to prioritize that because I'm having so much fun with it, and it's been a while since I read Sarah Hunter books, so I will see. But this one is, so far, it's really good. It's perfect for Christmas to put you in this mood, and also a really good romance. I love Luca, and the girl I was shipping them immediately just from the first phone call, so it's really good. Wow, I have been talking for a while. I'm exhausted, but yeah. I hope you guys have fun watching this video. I hope you are prepared for Bookmas coming in a few weeks. I have a premiere on my channel. Please put the notifications bell on so you are notified when my Bookmas marathon will start. And yeah, and I hope to see you there. So like this video, subscribe, and stick around, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.